Good morning, boys and girls. Hello from the city of North Glen. It's Miss Kelly. I'm glad to see all of you. I came to you today with my friend, the wise old owl, so that we could tell you about being a good friend. Because as we all know, Snow White is friends to everyone in the forest. So I'm so happy that you all are here with me today, and my friend, the wise old owl, so we can read some stories about being a good friend, because we all need a good friend here and there. So I'm ready to start. Are you ready to start, wise old owl? Oh, you're not? Why not? I'm ready to read some good books. Does that sound okay? And then we can talk about being a good friend. I think that a wise old owl is okay with that. I'm ready to read my first story to you. It is an awesome story about a really good friend of mine and a really good friend of so many of you out there. It is definitely one of my favorite books. This story is the story of Mr. Rogers and his neighborhood. It is called You Are My Friend, and it is written by Amy Reed, and the pictures are by Matt Phelan. Here we go. Let's see what happens. In the springtime, when everything was growing in green, Fred Rogers had to stay inside. The flowers made him sniffle. Plants made him sneeze. Freddie had allergies. He had other illnesses too. He spent many days in bed, and sometimes he had to stay inside for weeks at a time. Being sick made it very hard for young Freddie to make friends. What happens? Often, when Freddie was mad, sad, lonely, or scared, he kept his feelings inside. But he really wanted someone to know how he felt. Freddie found that he could talk about his feelings with puppets. He gathered them around him on his bed. That way, it seemed that he was always with a group of friends. When Freddie went to school, sometimes there were bullies. Neighborhood boys sometimes yelled mean words, and they chased him. It was just terrible. That is no way to be a friend. Grown-ups told Freddie to pretend the mean words didn't hurt, but they did. Hiding his feelings didn't work either. They just grew stronger. Sometimes when he was alone, Freddie cried. We never want our friends to cry. Freddie found it difficult to speak about his feelings, but he learned that he could express them on the piano. If he was angry, he played the piano loud. Low notes sounded like thunder. He played high, sweet notes for happiness, and he felt better when he shared his feelings through music. Freddie's mother gave him a way to deal with his worried feelings. She told him to always look for the people that are helping. Freddie began to look for helpers right in his own neighborhood. He liked to visit Mama Belle Frampton. She welcomed him and showed him how to make toast sticks all by himself. Freddie liked the good feeling of learning something new from his neighbor and good friend. Fred's grandfather, Mr. McFeely, was also an important friend. Fred loved to visit his grandparents' farm with its big stone wall. One day, Fred went into the room where all the adults were talking. No one even looked his way. Fred asked if he could walk on the stone wall, and then everybody looked his way. Most of the grown-ups said, "No, you might get hurt." But Grandpa McFeely said, "Yes, you can try." Fred climbed, then walked, and even ran on the wall. When at last he came back inside, he had a skinned knee, but he was happy. His grandpa told Fred that he liked him just the way he was. He said Fred was special, and that just by being himself, Fred made the day special too. Fred let those words sink deep inside of his heart, and as he thought about them, he felt braver. He began to speak up. He began to try new things. He reached out and he made friends, even with people that weren't like him at all. One day when Fred was grown up, he saw a television program. People were throwing pies in each other's faces. Fred did not like pie throwing, but he thought television could be wonderful. What if instead of showing people fighting, TVs could help one another with their feelings and showing each other helping? Right then, Fred decided that was what he wanted to do. He created a television show for children. He remembered all of the people who had helped him as he was growing up. He thought of his neighbor, Mama Belle Frampton, who was always glad to see him, and he wanted to share those good feelings with children everywhere. He wrote a happy, welcoming song to sing at the beginning of each show. He called his program Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he called the people who watched it his neighbors. At first, Fred felt very shy in front of the camera, but he found out that his grandpa was right. Just by being himself, Fred made his show special. Fred told stories with puppets. He played music that he wrote. He invited helpers to show what they could do or explain how things worked to children everywhere. He took his television camera to visit a farmer who had milk cows. He asked a friend to show how people could dig with big machines. Another helper played music, and another shared how to cook. Fred explained to his neighbors that feelings were important. You could talk about them, or you could show your feelings in other ways. If you are mad, you can pound clay or run fast. I like to paint when I am mad. I like to paint fast and get out all of my feelings. If you are sad, you could sing a song, soft and low. If you are happy, you can dance. I love to dance. Fred helped people learn to like themselves. He helped them learn to be good neighbors. He never forgot how his grandpa made him feel. Over and over, he would look right in the camera and pass along important words that changed his life. You've made this day a special day by just you being you. There is no person in the whole wide world like you, and I like you just the way you are. That is such a special book because Mr. Rogers was a friend to so many people, just like Snow White. I am going to invite one of my friends to join us over here today so we can read our next story because this is one of my many friends in the forest. He's going to be coming with us so that we could read another story about being a good friend. We know that sometimes everybody needs a friend to maybe just come and sit with them when they're feeling bad. And we never truly know what is happening with people, so we always want to be a good friend. My friend is here today to sit with me while I read our story to us, our next story to us today, because I was really feeling like I needed a friend. So today, for the next book, we are going to read a fun story called Friends. Are you ready? He has some other friends with him today. Since Snow White is friends with all of the animals of the forest, these animals are joining us for our story today as well. This story is written and illustrated by Helm Heine, and it is called Friends. Are you ready, friends? All right, we are ready for our story. We popped out of the storybook just special to be here for you today. So here we go. Every morning when Charlie Rooster strutted into the barn to wake up the other animals, Johnny Mouse and Fat Percy went with him to help. Good friends always stick together. When the job was done, they wheeled their bicycle out of the barn and they set off for their morning ride. Oh, we have another friend that was joining us this morning. They could ride down the roughest paths and up the steepest cliffs. No curve was too sharp for them and their bicycle. No puddle was deep enough to stop them. One day, they played a game of hide and seek by the pond. That looks like fun. When Johnny Mouse was hiding, he discovered an old boat lying in the grass, and he showed his friends. They decided to play pirates. Good friends always decide things together, they said. Johnny Mouse took the tiller, Charlie Rooster opened his wings to make the sail, and Percy plugged up the hole on the bottom of the boat by sitting on it. They were working together as a team. They sailed out onto the open water, and as the day went on, they felt very brave and bold. They had conquered the village pond. But hunger finally sent them back to shore. First, they tried to catch a fish, but their stomachs rumbled so loudly that they frightened all of the fish away. Then they went looking for cherries. They shared them, some for Johnny Mouse, some for Charlie Rooster, and twice as many for Percy. Johnny Mouse didn't mind, but Charlie Rooster complained. He said it was unfair, so they gave him the cherry stones. Friends are always fair, they said. Isn't that right, friend? They ate so many cherries they all got stomach aches and had to sit down for a while before they headed back. I love cherries. That is good stuff, isn't it? As evening fell and the shadows grew longer, they bicycled home. Behind the hen house, near the water barrel, they swore to be friends forever. Good friends always stick together, they said. They decided to spend the night in Johnny Mouse's house, but Charlie Rooster got stuck in the doorway. Then Percy invited them to spend the night with him, but Johnny Mouse said he didn't want to sleep in the pigsty. Finally, Charlie Rooster suggested sleeping in the hen house. They tried to rest on the perch high above the ground, but it broke. So sadly, they said goodnight to each other and they went to their own beds. Sometimes good friends just can't be together, they said. But that night, they dreamed about each other the way true friends do. That was a fun story about friends, huh? It tells us that our friends can't always be close to us, but that doesn't mean that they're not with us. And that doesn't mean that when they're far away, they're still not good friends. A lot of my friends live far, far away, but I know that they think of me and I think of them, and we try very hard to take care of each other no matter what the distance is, because friendship doesn't matter how far apart that you are. Some of my very best friends live in a faraway land, and I don't get to see them all the time, which makes me very sad. But I know that I can give them a call. I know that I can be a listening ear when they need it. And I also know that one of my best friends, my mommy, is always there to check on me and make me feel good when I'm feeling down. So I am very grateful that I have all of the friends that I have. And I think that all of you are my friends as well. And we are so happy that you get to join us and be part of our friend group every year, every week, every year. I just can't even talk today. So we are going to read you one last story about some things about friendship. And then we'll be looking for you next week once again. This book is called Friends Forever: 42 Ways to Celebrate Love, Loyalty, and Togetherness by Anne Rogers Smith. And it has some super fun pictures of lots of animal friends because you know that Snow White loves animals. Animals can be our best friends, just like people. A good friend has your back again and again. Your true colors shine the brightest when you're with a good friend. Good friends see eye to eye, even when it's hard. Brushing off being embarrassed is easy with a good friend. Just like I was embarrassed because I messed up my words. It's okay to make mistakes. I like you guys to see that even I, Snow White, can make mistakes and it's okay. Loyalty runs deep with good friends. A good friend never lets you settle for the path of least resistance. They want you to try hard. A good friend is always there to help you keep your cool. There is no such thing as a bad hair day with your good friend. For a much needed relaxation, you can chill out with good friends. He's got his legs sticking up in the air. That's a fun one, huh? When you're feeling blue, a good friend can come in and remind you that you are not alone. A good friend is a true partner in crime, which means sometimes you get up to some shenanigans together. If you're stuck, a good friend will come running. Hopefully, you don't even have to ask. A good friend can be an unexpected soulmate. A good friend always stays by your side when you need it. A good friend keeps you heading in the right direction, making good choices. A good friend is always in on the joke. Isn't that right, wise old owl? That is right. Both sides of a situation are always clear to a good friend. A moment's notice is all a good friend needs to hop to your side. Hugs are the greatest gift that you can give a good friend. Going with the flow is easy with a good friend. A good friend always laughs with you and sometimes at you when you're silly. Good friends are always in tune with each other. A good friend knows when to give you a little bit of space. And a good friend knows that it's always about the ride, not the destination. And to all of you, have a great weekend with your good friends. And we can't wait to see you again at the City of North Glen for our story time. And always remember to use your heart and be a friend to everyone, because you never know when somebody really, really might need a good friend. So I hope to see all of you, our friends, next week. We'll see you later. Love and hugs to all of our friends out there from the City of North Glen. Bye-bye.